What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So today I'm showing my main Garuda build, updated for the current patch. I haven't made a video on this for like over a year, and yeah, it's Molt Garuda updated with the current shield getting and all that. So we'll be getting into that. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, news videos, build videos, and the like. I'll hopefully remember to actually show the fashion frame today. But just a reminder as well, there are some fashion frame items used in this fashion that are not available anymore and won't be available for maybe over a year. So let's get right into it with Molt Garuda. But yeah, one more thing too, I'll be live on stream after this video goes up, so if you want to come hang out, feel free. Alright, so Molt Garuda is basically one of my favorite builds because it is so easy and lazy to play. It also is pretty effective too. So the way it works, our shield breaking breaks, we hit the second ability, Molt from Saren. And with the amount of shield getting we have, we are just basically invincible. So as long as the shield goes down, we have time to refresh our shield. And yes, you might be like, why is it? You're just tanking. You're not actually doing anything. That's when you actually start pushing the other buttons to just kill every enemy, basically. Those guys should be slash procced and dead. You can also just execute them with your one. So that's the idea of the build. Just face tank everything and also be moving really fast. The Molt ability does buff your movement speed. So, and with the parkour velocity shards we got in here right now, we can really cover some ground with Garuda. So let's get into the builds and all that, and I'll explain to you why you might want to use this build, why you might not want to use this build, what the situations for it are appropriate. So as far as the build, we have a lot of Archon shards on here. We've got 3 parkour velocity Tau shards. That's a total of like 66%. Parkour velocity. We've also got other parkour velocity sources too. That's not the only sources. We've got 2 casting speed Archon shards as well. Make it where we can cast our bloodletting really fast and our Dreadmere really fast. The nice thing about Molt from Saren is it has no cast time, so actually it's going to be a faster status cleanse than bloodletting usually is. So bloodletting will clear statuses, so does Molt. Yeah, but Molt is just faster. And it's also a very good shield getting ability as it has no animations, as I stated. So as far as the setup and build, we're going to be having a speed-focused build here on Garuda. Arcane Agility on damage increased parkour velocity by 60%. So that's going to go on top of our other 60% parkour velocity. We're over double parkour velocity, so that's pretty nice. Now, as far as the build, or the mods in the build, there is some customization here. Like, if you don't want to run Catalyzing Shields or Rolling Guard, because we already have 2 status cleanses and a bunch of invincibility, be my guest, you can put Adaptation on there instead. You can put on whatever you feel like. The main idea of the build is just to go for Molt on Garuda with Molt Reconstruct. Whenever you cast an ability, you will heal yourself and allies within affinity range for 6 health per energy point spent. So the way that this loop goes, we drain our health with Bloodletting to get energy, and we cast the no animation ability Molt to get our energy back, or to get our health back. It's an endless loop of Bloodletting into Molt, Bloodletting into Molt, and you'll be infinite energy and infinite health. As far as the mods on the build, let's actually get some gameplay on the screen. We can talk about this. Now, we've got triple Umbra mods on here, and why is that? Because it's not really entirely a build meant for level 10,000s. It could do level 10,000s, but I'm probably not going to do this build for level 10,000. I'd probably go for maybe a Breach Surge build for level 10,000, which I have done before, but yeah, this is my main everyday Garuda build. So hop into like a normal mission, just go in there with your Brahma, keep casting Molt, just keep spamming that Brahma. Go from room to room. You can hold the Brahma shot down, the Kuva Brahma shot down, while you are casting Bloodletting and while you're casting Molt. So very nice there. I've also been messing with the Tenant Envoy because it was marked as very popular on the usage charts. But if you're going to be using that, use the Blood Forge Augment, which will reload your gun entirely when casting Bloodletting. That is definitely a viable option here. You could probably take off Stretch or take off like Rolling Guard or something to do that. But yeah, I'm just showing you what I use today. So as far as the mods on the build, we have triple Umbra to make our power strength pretty massively increased. Also increase our armor and our health. So in case our shield gating does break, like I said, this is an everyday build. I'm not always looking to shield gate. I can actually have a somewhat respectable health tank build with triple Umbra. And I actually used to run Adaptation on this build before. So the big changes to this build are actually catalyzing shields. That's what made it work. So before the old version of this, I had Adaptation right here. And the thing is, without catalyzing shield, her shield gate is 1.37. For 370 shield, with catalyzing shield, her shield gate is 1.33 with 74. So you know how shield gating works. This is going to be a lot easier to achieve for that 1.33 shield gate over this, which you could still do. Like I said, you could do this for more casual focus missions, and it will still work, but your shield gate will be worse, technically. You'll have to cast Molt like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, I've got Catalog and Shields on here. It's the new mod that is going to replace the Decaying Dragon Key. Do not run Decaying Dragon Keys anymore. They nerf you like pretty hard. The rest of this, Rolling Guard for invincibility. Don't really need it. Her 4 makes her invincible, so is her 1, but I use it because I like this. I also like to look at chat a lot of the time, too. People ask, why do you use Rolling Guard and everything? Because I'm looking at chat a lot of the time. I am tabbed out or doing something else. And this will give me 3 stacks of gray health, which I can also achieve through other means. Stretch to jump on enemies from further away with our Dread Mirror. This is another mod you could switch out for something else if you thought something else more preferable, like a augment mod like Dread Warder. Maybe even Regen Molt could be interesting on this. But yeah, just for me, liking to have more AoE in my Blood Orb, more AoE in my Jump. That's what I like to have there. Prime Float. Garuda has one of the biggest energy pools in the game. So yeah, this can be very nice to just have as much energy as you possibly could hope for. And also, Quick Thinking could also be an option on here too. Since we're going for a lazy tank build, with all that energy, Quick Thinking will be giving us a big extra energy bar, or a big extra health bar. But for the time being, we're keeping Catalog and Shields in here because that's what I like to run. And as for Prime Continuity, just makes your Molt last longer for the speed buff duration. The speed buff duration does scale off of strength, and the duration also is going to affect how long it affects you too. So, Brief Respite is going to be the crux of our shield gate, and yeah, the rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. We're spamming Brahma shots, so Prime sure-footed. Now, as far as the weapons I use, like I said, this is not really a full weapon guide. I like to use the Brahma on Garuda a lot. I also like to use the Cyclone on Garuda a lot too. But I don't really think that there's any specific reason to run those besides I just like them and I have good ribbons for them and I like just powerful basically. But I can show them anyway. So the reason I run the Kuva Brahma is because, like I said, you can hold the Brahma shot charged up while you're in Molt, while you're in Bloodletting. It's just really convenient. You hold the button down, your shot is ready to go as you cast Molt and as you shield gate or do whatever you need to do. You release the shot, and you're already moving on to the next area. So, with all this parkour velocity, we can blast through and exterminate really quickly. But we do use weapons to take care of those enemies. So, as far as the weapon builds, they are versatile, as I stated. But we've got Kuva Brahma with the element of the Toxin Elemental Brahma. And my main build nowadays is Radiation Corrosive with Firestorm and Radiated Reload. And my Riven is double crit, multi-shot, minus Corpus. If you don't have this Riven, put on Vigilante Armaments in this slot instead. And as well, there's a Vira Hunter Munitions build right here. It's going to be probably better for Steel Path, but also I like the Corrosive and the Radiation for good hybrid stats against lots of enemy types. This will work very well against most things, though. I've been fighting a lot of the Murmur, and this is not great against the Murmur. It's usable against the Murmur, it's just not great against the Murmur. And also, guys, I don't recommend running Critical Delay on the Brahma over Point Strike. Yes, it will give you more crit chance, but look at how low your fire rate goes down from that. So you go from 0.4 to 0.67 charge rate. That's pretty rough. I don't do that because also look at this too. Minus 20% fire rate, times 2 for bows. This is a bow, so I would not recommend running this. Just take the sacrifice. It's a little bit less crit chance, but it's also a lot more fire rate, which you'll need for spamming these shots. But the Cyclone, we got a magnetic element, and we've got a Viral Heat build. This actually can, funny enough, kill level 10,000s with no Bane mod. I guess the really good Riven does help, but if you don't have this Riven, just put Lethal Torrent in that slot instead. Just a little bit worse version of my Riven. And yeah, this thing is really good for priming, and it's basically, this is what you use when you're out of Brahma ammo. Like your Brahma ran out of ammo, you didn't pick up a brick yet from Vigilante Supplies. This is what you just kill 5-6 enemies with before they drop more Brahma ammo. You pick that up and switch back to your Brahma. But yeah, very powerful weapon and very good. For our melee, I don't really use Garuda's Talons that often, but they are good. We got the Praetos for increased movement speed, and we've got Sprint speed increased from Drifting Grace, and also Evolved Ascension giving increased parkour velocity. So our total parkour velocity is like 150% parkour velocity increase. That's before we even use something like this, Dispatch Override. On heavy attack hit, increased movement speed by 60% for 15 seconds. So we stack this all together, we're really fast. We can make some crazy jumps too, so. That's about it for the movement speed stuff. We got the Smina Kavat, and the mods here, just basically a bunch of bond mods. We got Momentous Bond to make the cat come back from the dead faster, Medipet Kit to make it come back from the dead faster, Aerial Bond to make it come back from the dead faster, Tech Enhance to make its ability last longer, Crit Buff is always nice from Tenacious Bond, we got Loot Radar, longer Shield Gate for the cat with Calculated Redirection, and Fetch to make it absorb loot for me, and of course Charm because that's why it's here. Okay, so now that I've gone to the arsenal screen, the shield getting is messed up in the sim after that. So, Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I basically think I've told you guys everything I wanted to tell you today. This is one of my main Garuda builds. It's very versatile, and the biggest change I made to it is just throwing on catalyzing shields. Before, I would use a decaying dragon key on this, but now we have to sacrifice one mod slot. I'm pretty sure I took off quick thinking or adaptation, like one of those two. I took that off for catalyzing shields, unfortunately. Like, would I like to have adaptation on here, and could I still put it on? Yeah. I could probably put adaptation on over rolling guard, but I really love to just put rolling guard on everything, so I would say it's up to you. If you want to duplicate this build, you can throw on adaptation instead. You can take off catalyzing shields. Really, it's your options, guys, but I do have a double umber for my Garuda, and I like to use it quite often, so I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you on stream very soon. Hopefully you're enjoying the update. We got a bit to go until we have a big update again in March, so in the meantime, just get those builds updated and all that good stuff. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.